Hey, this is Diane, and I wanted to talk to you about the key to your interview success is research. A lot of people don't realize this, but the most important thing you can do to be successful in your interview is do between 4 and 8 hours of pre-interview research. And a lot of people say, you've got to be crazy. It's that long. Yes, you really need to know everything you can possibly get to know about the company. It will change everything in how you interact with the company. So this is how you're going to do your research. First, you need to go to the company website and look at every single page they have on their website. Look at all the different products, the services, each different page. Look and understand every single page that's on their website. Then once you've looked at all the products, all the promotions, what they say, because they're going to tell you what's important. Once you do that, then go all the way down to the footer, and there should be a little tiny link to investor relations, especially if it is a publicly traded company. So go all the way down to the bottom of the page and look for the investor relations button. And then click that, and that's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's going to have the annual report, the last several probably. It's going to have your K1s, which are your quarterly financial reports that are going to tell you how the company is going each quarter. They may very well have PowerPoint presentations or special documents that were special press briefings or special meetings that they had with investors. So they're going to have lots of information and presentations that they've given. So really spend a lot of time with the investor relations page. The annual report will tell you who the chief executive is, tell you what their key initiatives, it'll tell you where their revenue is coming from, if the revenue has grown or not grown. It'll be valuable. It takes a lot of time to read an annual report. It is not short. Flick through it and make sure that you understand everything that's going on in the company. The financials will all be there, so you have an understanding of financially what's going on with the company. Then also down on that footer, there should be a little tiny link that says media or public relations, something like that. So that's going to be the media page, and that's where the company's going to put all their press releases. And so you'll probably find years of press releases. So go through and read all the press releases, because that's going to tell you what's happening. It's going to tell you new product introductions, new initiatives. If there have been any litigation, any legal issues will be there. If they've had any product recalls, if they've done any big things for charity, anything that they want to toot their horn will be in the press release page. So you can read that and understand what's important to the company, because they're telling you what's important to them, what they want you to know. They're telling you in that page. Also look and see if there are any links to professional or trade associations. Virtually every company belongs to and participates actively in one or more professional associations related to their industry. It can be, there might be several. For example, I worked for Frito-Lay. They were on the Snack Food Association, probably the Potato Growers Association, the Corn Growers Association, and lots of different retail association and convenience store association. So they're going to have links that'll take you to their industry website, so you can look on those websites. Number one, you can see what they're writing about the company. Often most trade associations will have a state of the industry annual report, and they'll profile market shares and who's the leader and who's gained share and lost share and new products and new innovations in their monthly publications. They'll have an annual state of the industry. You'll find out a lot about the company there. You will also see if they talk about the company per se, how many people on the board of directors or the committees. You'll be able to see who represents the companies, because it might be the president, but it'll have their email at whatever the company is. So you can see what companies are represented on the board of directors, what people in the company are on each committee, so that you can actually engage with them, find out what they're interested in. Also, then go to all the social media pages for the company. You can start with the Facebook page. Go to the LinkedIn page. Lots of information on LinkedIn. We'll come back to LinkedIn. Facebook, go to Twitter, go to Instagram, go to Pinterest. Find out what they're talking about. There'll be promotions. They'll have different posts. They'll talk about new products that they're introducing. They'll talk about events they're participating in, sponsorships. Lots of information will be on each of the different social media pages targeting consumers. Then go to LinkedIn. There'll be a company profile talking about the company. You'll be able to see who works there. And you'll often be able to see if there's anybody you know who's a first connection. If you don't know anybody in the company, then look for second connections and ask your first connection to introduce you. For all of the first connections, contact them, set up a time to meet on the phone and say, hey, I'm interviewing for your company. I'm so excited. I'd like to get kind of an insider scoop of what's going on. What are the most important things that are happening? So talk to your friend and learn information. If you want to go and get a job with a company, those are your first contacts, because often companies will reward employees a finder fee if they refer potential employees. So LinkedIn is very critical. Then you can look for the department that you're going to be interviewing for. So in my case, it would be the marketing department. So if it were the marketing department, then I would look for the vice president of marketing, the directors of marketing. I would look for everybody I could connect who would be in my field that I might meet. Also, I would find out who runs the human resources department, because that's going to be important. Make sure you know who the CEO is and who the key people who run the company, any executive vice presidents and CEOs, COOs, who's running the company, so you can understand if they talk about something, or you can refer to things. Also, you might want to know who board members are. So they may have very important board members. So those are very important things to do. LinkedIn is critical. Spend lots of times on LinkedIn, and make sure when you're setting up the appointment, the interview, ask who will be on the interview team meeting you. They may not know everybody, but it'll probably be the hiring manager. It'll be a senior person in HR, a couple other people. They probably have an idea, and ask, and then make sure you go to LinkedIn and research all of those people. Go to Glassdoor and see what former employees say about the company. Now remember, Glassdoor, more people will complain than will praise the company. You'll have a bunch of disgruntled employees who will probably say bad things about the company, but take it with a grain of salt, because there'll always be a greater percentage of unhappy employees talking about the company rather than the percentage of happy employees. But see what the happy employees say, the strengths of the companies are, and then listen to what some of the unhappy people say about their experience, because it might be relevant. So you need to do some research in that area. Next is alumni. Most of you went to college of some kind. Maybe you had an undergraduate school, maybe you had grad school. Your alumni network is a huge way to prepare for the interview. It is very probable that somebody in your alumni network works for that company somewhere. So you can also find that through LinkedIn, but then go to your school alumni network. They should have an online database that you can research and put in the company's name and see who you can find who currently works for the company or previously worked for the company. And reach out to them and say, hey, I'm real excited. I'm interviewing with ABC company next week, and I just want to learn as much as I can about the company, its culture, the people, what's happening in the industry. Can you give me 15 minutes? I'd like to pick your brain, because I want to go in as well prepared as possible for that interview. They might know somebody in the department or in HR that if you engage with them appropriately, they could say, hey, I know that guy. Let me send him a note saying that, I've talked with you and you're a good guy, and to be ready for an interview. So they could, if they bond with you, and if you have a relationship, if you have a relationship through networking where they know you personally, that's really strong. But if not, you can connect by email, by LinkedIn, by social media. Once you want to find those people, ask them for some kind of a referral. Alumni databases are huge. It's also very valuable to ask for somebody who used to work for the company, because they probably aren't bound by current confidentiality. And if they didn't have a good experience with the company, they'll be real frank and tell you about it. So you'll learn a lot about the culture, about the texture of the company by asking those questions. And then it's really important that you prepare to elevate the conversation, to engage in a peer-to-peer conversation. Because if you really know the company, you know the industry, you know their history, you know what's happening, then you'll be able to address during the interview what the key concerns of the company and of your future boss is. So when you're talking to the hiring manager, you want to engage, not saying, well, tell me about yourself, but you can say, I understand that the industry has really been challenged lately because of new innovation from the Orient, the digital transformation of whatever it is, and there have been some new players that have really challenged the U.S. manufacturer. What has your company done to really help shore up your marketplace. I see that you've been growing in market share, and I see that you made a new product introduction recently about XYZ. It looks really interesting, but can you give me some insight into what the biggest challenges are, or what are the things that are really concerning you? But if you express knowledge and understanding of what's going on in the industry, in the economy, in the company, in the product category, in the consumer space, what's happening with consumers, maybe there's new product categories or new products that are substituting your category. As long as you can talk knowledgeably with the people that you're interviewing with as a peer at the same level that they are, so it's not necessarily a subordinate inferior relationship, but you can come in and sit down and talk as if you were a team member with that hiring manager and discuss his concerns, what keeps him up, what he wants from that position, how you can contribute, and you can be saying things like, assuming that I'm the person chosen for the job, what exactly do you expect me to do in the first 90 days that can help solve this problem? Or if I could solve only one key concern, issue, problem, challenge you have in the first, let's say 90 days I'm there, what would that one key concern or issue be? And at that point, you've elevated the conversation past an interview to an industry discussion at a very high level that will allow you to be seen in the role that you're applying for. You've assumed that you're going to be hired, so you're having these high-level conversations of the kind that you would be having if you were working with that person. It's really going to put you in a much more attractive and more competitive position because they can see you in that role. They understand your strategic thinking skills. They understand your grasp of the industry and the concerns. It will make you stand out heads and shoulders over everybody else that's going to be interviewing for that job. So I encourage you, if it's worth your time to show up to the interview, and if it's worth many hours of the company's time, because they're going to screen, they're interviewing people, they're looking at your credentials, they're checking your references, they're checking your college, they're looking at your social media, your resume is being seen by half a dozen different people. They're going to invest dozens of their company time to interview you. 4 or 5 different people are going to look at your resume. They're going to plan their time. They're investing more than 8 hours of time getting ready to interview you. You deserve to invest 8 hours of your time to be prepared to really master that interview so that you come across as so knowledgeable that you could slip into that team immediately, knowing what the challenges are. That's how you're going to win the job, and they won't even look at anybody else because you will win that interview because of how well you've prepared, done the research, and prepared with a deep dive understanding of the company and the industry, and you will be successful. This is Diane Huth, the Accidental Career Coach, with another simple secret to career success. This month, we're talking about acing the interview, and we're going to be talking lots about different interview skills. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe to my Facebook page, and please join me on YouTube, where I have more than 60 videos giving valuable content and information like that. Please click to subscribe and follow me, and I'll be back with you soon.